everybody to the workshop or slash seminar on quality assurance and the use of GSBPM. My name is Matthias Reister. I'm working here at the United Nations Statistics Division, and I will lead us today through this workshop and seminar. Just two announcements before we start. So the meeting will be recorded, and the recording and also all its presentations will be made available. Also, your microphones are open. We didn't sort of disable them, but please, if you could mute yourself until later on when we have a discussion. So with this, I would like now to give the floor to Ms. Juliet Alessandra Solano Villa of DANE, Colombia, the co-chair of the subgroup on linking quality assurance and GSBPM. I would like to give Juliet the floor to open the meeting. Juliet, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Matthias, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, colleagues. Thank you for joining us today. It is a pleasure to welcome you to the webinar on quality assurance and the use of the GSBPM. This event is organized by the expert group NCAP subgroup on linking quality assurance and the generated statistical business process model, GSBPM, in his new updated version 5.2. The subgroup is led by two co-chairs, Italia and Colombia, and the UNSD is the secretariat. This subgroup establishes during the April 3 meeting of the expert group has two key objectives. The first, to develop the overarching quality management process for the GSBPM, and second, to provide guidelines for using the standard to support the implementation of the NCAP. The development of the overarching process of quality management includes reviewing and categorizing existing quality indicators, identifying redundancies, differences between qualitative and quantitative indicators, and their applicability to different data sources. We already have started this task. For the output would be an updated list of quality indicators for the GSBPM and concrete guidelines for the implementation of quality assurance at the level of a statistical process. The second task focuses on developing guidelines for using the GSBPM to support the NCAP implementation. This involves reviewing how GSBPM is currently applied in different countries, like in this webinar, identifying potential areas for improvement, and developing a set of actionable steps to align GSBPM practices with the NCAP principles. For this task, the output will be a document with the guidelines and a roadmap on how to implement the standard together with the NCAP as a tool to achieve quality improvements. This webinar is clearly connected to the work plan of the subgroup and has the purpose of reviewing the implementation and use of the GSBPM in different countries as a first step for the identification of the guidelines associated with our task 2. The invited countries, Colombia, Italy, Turkey, Mongolia, and Norway, will share their experiences using GSBPM, and the presentations and interventions will address the links between the use of this standard and quality assurance. We also hope to have an open conversation based on the presentations at the end. We also want to take this opportunity to reiterate our invitation to all interested countries to participate in this discussion and contribute to his various stages of development. All the members of the Supporting Standards Modernization Group of the LHLG-MOS are more than welcome to engage. So with this, I hope we have a very rich workshop, and I think we should follow the rest of the items of the agenda. Thank you. Over to you, Matthias.
Yes. Thank you very much, Juliet, for that opening. Now, as already indicated by Juliet, we will have now country presentations. We have 5 presentations. We asked the presenters to be brief, and After each presentation, we may allow 1 or 2 questions just for clarification, but otherwise we will ask you to hold your questions for then the discussion time. So with this, I would like to give the floor to Ms. Juliana Mosquera Dueñas of DANE, Colombia, for sharing the experiences of Colombia in the use of the GSBPM. And Juliana, we made you a presenter, so you should be able to pull up your presentation. But if you have any challenges, we can also do it from our side. So Juliana, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Well, I'll be presenting Colombia's experience on implementing the GSBPM and how this relates to the quality assurance framework in our country. Okay, I'll try to share. I think it's going to be okay. Just a second.
Yes,
I think it's all right. You can see the screen, right?
We can see the screen, but it's not yet in presentation mode.
Okay, just a second. I think it's already there.
Now it's in presentation mode.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so my name is Juliana Mosquera, and I'll be presenting our experience in Colombia. And if you have any questions, well, at the end, I appreciate that. Okay, so the agenda for today is I'll be showing you the implementation timeline in Colombia of this standard. Also, I'll be showing some tools for measuring and managing quality. And lastly, I'll be presenting some lessons we have learned and some steps we're planning. Okay, so this is our implementation timeline in Colombia. It is important to notice that we have 2 standards that are pretty important for us to support this process. The first standard is the guidelines for the statistical process, and the second one is the technical standard for the quality of the statistical process. Okay, so the guidelines are an adaptation of the GSBPM, and they are based, of course, on the standard, but our first version was adapted only with 5 phases. That was in 2017, as you can see here. Oh, sorry, just a second. And our standard, technical standard for the quality of the statistical process was also adapted following that version. Then in 2020, we had a second version with 8 phases based on GSBPM 5.1. And accordingly, our technical standard was adapted, aligned with GSBPM 5.1. It is important to notice that the technical standard for the quality of the statistical process, or NTC as we call it, is legally backed. And it's also this standard, how can I say this? We call it norma, but it includes a lot of quality requirements that statistical operations have to have in their statistical process. So it's really important to promote quality within the process. Then we had this implementation within 2020, 2024. Important to notice that we had the statistical law in 2023, and this reinforces the usage of these 2 standards. We also had some quality assessments during the period, 104 quality assessments. And this was pretty useful for us to get technical feedback for continuous improvement of the statistical operations. And currently we are updating our 2 standards, and we want to align them, of course, to GSBPM 5.2. And of course, we're going to take into account our experiences and the international practice. Okay, the 2 tools I just mentioned for managing and measuring quality, we have 2 of them. Is the MAC self-assessment instrument. This is based on NQF and GSBPM. Important to know that MAC is our Colombia's quality assessment framework, and DANE leads this framework. And we created one of these instruments to implement this quality framework, and this is the MAC as self-assessment instrument. It covers each GSBPM phase, and as you can see here, and the form was a little small, but okay, you have a column with the face of the GSBPM. You have quantitative and qualitative indicators. As you can see, the second column, you also have the formula. So entities just access this form in our NSS website. They can fill it and they can identify strengths and gaps, support the planning and improvement of their statistical operations. And of course, this serves as a preparatory input for the independent quality review we have under that NTC, and which is the standard I just mentioned. So it's pretty important, this instrument, for all statistical operations that want to carry out this quality assessment in the future. We also have the quality metrics form. This form evaluates key aspects of DANE's statistical operations. It's a form we use within DANE. And it has a modular design. I'll show you in the next slide how it looks. It has GSBPM phases such as collection, processing, analysis, dissemination. And as you can see, there are some attributes we can evaluate with this form: punctuality, transparency, accessibility, accuracy, et cetera, And within those quality attributes, we have some aspects such as, standardized concepts, nomenclatures, classifications, compliance with start and end dates for collection, for example, methodological documents, their update, coverage, etc. And this form is really important for us because we support our internal quality committees with this form. So we carry out the committees, we use the form there. The statistical operation manager, just presents all the methodology of the statistical operation, and we can review before publishing our statistical outputs and check if there's room for improvement. Okay, next one. Okay, this is how the form looks. So it's like an Excel file type, and you have a column with the GSBPM phase. In this case, is collection. And you have a sort of activities there that evaluate collection and some indicators and some questions that evaluate qualitative quality. And we evaluate the current period as well as the last iteration of the operation. As I told you, this form was created in 2018, or as I show you, I think, and it's backed by a resolution. So this reinforces the usage within our statistical office. And we have implemented this along all these years and increasing our statistical operations and the form implementation. In 2024, we just updated the form and we added some more questions, review, the quality activities, etc. And we developed Power BI dashboard because we want to track how this form looks and how this form operates within statistical operations. And as you can see, we have around 1,100 forms implemented as of 2025. And we are increasing our statistical operations. We have implemented them in these forms in 92 statistical operations. Okay, and the lessons learned finally will, of course, GSBPM standards, such as guidelines I show you, and the technical standard, NTC, have improved the communication and quality monitoring within our statistical process and the NSS and DANES, of course, statistical operations. The MAC framework, as I told you, is very important because it promotes a culture of improvement within the entities. Of course, internal committees are pretty important and really, really important, an important tool to identify areas for improvement. And this can be in operational things or methodological documentation. And of course, as I mentioned, the FMC or the metrics quality form can enable us to have a consistent review of quality before we disseminate, before we put out, statistical outputs out for the users, okay? And the next steps, as I told you, we are updating standards right now, guidelines and technical standard in line with GSBPM 5.2. We want to broaden the use of the form, which as mentioned, across more statistical operations within DANE. And we want to reinforce the connection between the committee and the form to align them because this can allow us to have a continuous feedback on the methodological improvements we need to, to carry out, or the other aspects in the operations of the statistical operations that need to be, improved and ameliorated. Okay. And finally, we want to promote a broader application of the MAC as self-assessment instrument, because this can guide statistical operations and want to carry out quality assurance, assessment reviews and check the strengths and gaps they have. So to conclude, I think we can, with this experience, we can just show that it is possible to adapt the GSBPM and then QAF to the needs of countries. In this case, Colombia has used legal, methodological, participatory tools to adapt those standards. And we believe that aligning those two, GSBPM and QAF, we can elevate the trust and actually put more value into our statistics within NSS and DANE. Okay, so thank you very much. This was the presentation. I hope I just got the 10 minutes right. And if you have any questions, please do. Thank you.
Juliana, no, thank you very much for your excellent presentation, very informative. So I'm sure you have many questions, no participants, you have many questions. However, I would like to ask participants to maybe hold their questions, more comprehensive questions, for a little later. However, if you have any immediate question for clarification, we could take that. So are there any immediate questions for clarification? Okay, I see no hand being raised. No one is sort of opening the mic and starting to speak. So with this, then I think no questions for now. Juliana, then thank you very much. So we will come back to your presentation, but now we would like to continue then with the presentation of Italy. Ms. Giorgia Simeoni has also prepared a presentation for us regarding the practices in Italy. So Giorgia, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Matthias. I'm sharing my screen. In the meanwhile, I would like to inform you that I didn't want to make questions, but my possibility to raise the hand was not allowed. So maybe this could be an issue if someone wants to raise the hand.
Yeah. So
I cannot raise my hand.
Oh, you couldn't raise your hand?
Yes.
Okay. So Yushi and Harumi, if you could.
I think it could be an issue also for others, so I mentioned it. Maybe I can proceed. Are you seeing my screen?
We can see your screen in presentation mode. Excellent.
Perfect. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. I'm Giorgia Simeoni. I'm the ISTAT Quality Manager from Italy. I'm the honor, let's say, to co-chair this subgroup that organized the seminar together with Juliet from Colombia. And I'm also a member of the supporting standards group from the UNIC. So I have to say I'm very committed to this activity. And I'm very glad to share the experience from Italy in the use of GSBPM connected with quality assurance. Now the issue is to try to go on with the presentation. Okay. First of all, I have to say that we have a quite long tradition on quality management that started before I started to work at ISTAT, so before then 25 years ago. And we have a consolidated tradition in documenting statistical processes, in calculating and collecting quality indicators, in quality reporting, quality guidelines, adopting auditing a self-assessment procedure for quality assessment and improvement, and also a training program on quality concepts. But, well, tradition brings relevant legacy. So it's we have our metadata system with the long time series of standard quality indicators that we can analyze and compare. This is an example taken this morning of the time series of unit non-response rate from four social surveys. You can see, for example, that unfortunately the trend is worsening and that we have some problems during the COVID period. But this is just an example to see how rich is the information we collect on quality. But tradition also brings some constraints or lack of flexibility. The metadata system we had, this was developed considering survey. We have a very not very fixed set of phases of the production process, and we cannot describe well innovative processes that try to can have different workflow for different variables, for example. Also, this is on the left, you have the phases of the production process in our metadata system. On the right, there is the summary of the first quality guidelines that we have developed that were in 2012, and you see they are very much oriented to surveys. Then from 2016, ISTAT started a modernization process on three main pillars: decentralization of data collection, methodology, dissemination, and IT, the development of the integrated system of statistical registers that is now really the core of statistical production, and it is given by the combination and integration of administrative data sources and results from surveys. And then there was also the investment on new data sources. So from 2020, we developed a new quality strategy, and then we implemented it. And now, after 5 years, we are summing up the work done and developing the strategy for the next 5 years. And what is GSBPM in all these quality management activities? Well, gradually it has become a reference for all our process-oriented tools and activities. And I would say it helped us a lot in improving flexibility and managing new statistical processes. I make some example very quickly of how we use GSBPM in the quality tools. First of all, in 2018, we produced the quality guidelines for the National Statistical System. They are available only in Italian, unfortunately, while the other ones are also in English. They include the mapping with phases and sub-processes of GSBPM. We use these guidelines to make audits on the other national authorities producing European statistics. And for the next 5 years, we are planning an update of ISTAT quality guidelines, and they will be based on GSBPM, not only mapped. In 2022-2023, we develop a checklist. We would like to verify the conformity of ISTAT statistical processes, the more traditional one because they were the more consolidated one, to standard methodologies and procedures, with the aim of assigning an internal quality label to compliant processes. So we developed this checklist starting from GSBPM and selecting the parts that were more interested in. So GSBPM was our references. The checklist was administered to more than 200 of statistical processes, and now we have percentage of compliant one that is more than 75%, and the remaining one are implementing some improvement action to reach compliance. From 2024, we are also restarted the auditing procedures, internal auditing procedures, and also the final evaluation reports follow the structure of the checklist and also was built referring to GSBPM. We use GSBPM as a sort of canvas of reference to which we refer when we develop this kind of tools. Maybe the main application on use of GSBPM that we did in the last period is in the development of the quality framework for the integrated system of statistical registers. We need to develop a system to monitor, document, and evaluate the quality of these statistical registers. And so we referred to GSBPM and identified the different sub-processes that were more relevant in this kind of creation of registers. The flexibility of GSBPM was very useful because the processes were complex. Very often there were some going back and forth in the different phases of GSBPM. We have different workflow for different variables and so on. The work was not so easy. We found that some very important activities that were performed in the creation of registers were missing, or at least not well explicit in GSBPM, because they were probably included in the overarching quality management process. And this is maybe the reason why we are a bit committed in trying to improve this part. The value add of the work of this activity was that we didn't only specify the sub-processes, but also define the inputs and the outputs for each sub-process and the quality indicators. So, for example, this is the red boxes are the main sub-process. This is an example of how the workflow can go for the creation of one register. This is the model with the input and outputs and the methods for data integration. So this is the list of possible input of possible methods that can be used. And in this slide, we have the list of quality indicators that we defined for data integration. So when we go and try to apply the standard, the framework to a statistical register, when we are in a step of data integration, we evaluate the applicability of each of these indicators. And if the indicator is applicable, it is developed in the management system of the statistical register for monitoring purposes. Finally, even if we said that we should not focus much on documentation, I think it's worth mentioning that we are developing also our new metadata system, Metastat, that will integrate structural metadata, reference metadata, and the glossary terminology. It will be based on GSBPM and GSIMS. And I think that we wanted to obtain is to obtain automatically SIMS, that is the European standard for quality reporting, starting from the documentation from GSBPM and GSIM. Last slide, we also use GSBPM in our training courses to describe the process quality and quality assurance system. In particular, we start from this GSBPM and point out that main prevention activities are done during the design and build phases. The monitoring and correction activities are during the collect and process phases, and the evaluation is at the last step for what concerns the single edition evaluation. And that's it from my side. I give back the floor to Matthias.
Giorgia, thank you very much for your excellent presentation. So this is also, again, really a lot of information to take on. So again, to participants, please take note of your detailed questions. But now I just would like to open the floor only for some immediate questions for clarification, if there are any. I understand that maybe raising hand doesn't work. Then you can always sort of open your camera and sort of manually raise your hand. So we try to watch out for you. So, but I don't see anybody sort of open their camera and opening their mic. So I take it that there are right now no immediate questions for clarification. With this, yes.
Sorry, I think there's one question being posted in the chat.
Okay. The question is of Ms. Lei Tuitian. Can you give example of a new process applied GSBPM in your country? Is there any difference from other processes? I think maybe this is a question maybe we want to take up that is more, that's not only for clarification. I think that is a general question. I suggest that also to give you, Georgia, a little more time to think about it, to take this question at the end of our presentations. So well noted. But I would suggest we continue then now with the presentation of Turkstad. And we have here with us Mr. Sergat Cihat Gören of Turkstad, chairman of the quality group at Turkstad, if I understand correctly. And yeah, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Matthias. I can share my presentation. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, we see your presentation in presentation mode.
Thank you. Hello, everyone from Ankara. I am Serdar Cihat Gören. I am working as a head of quality group in my institution. Today, I will try to mention about our quality monitoring and assessment tool, which is based on GSBPM quality indicators. When it comes to small introduction, quality of official statistics is very important for our institution. In this context, we have a strong legal framework, and effective leadership is provided by senior management level. We have statistics law of Turkey and some regulations, some directives on quality of official statistics. You can also find many quality principles and standards on the legal framework. Those are our core documents for quality. We have quality policy and quality assurance framework. Quality assurance framework is brand new. You can reach them on our website with English language. Quality monitoring and assessment tool, you can see our purposes. We want to improve quality of official statistics produced by our institution, raising awareness on quality in official statistics, increasing cooperation with relevant units, sharing experience, and increasing user trust and satisfaction. As you know, users are very important, their trust and satisfaction, and it's very important to meet their needs. So this is another important thing to design this tool. We started to design this tool 2018. We started to translate of GSBPM quality indicators to Turkish language, and after that we established a quality working group in our institution. Many experts and managers and some other relevant persons are the member of the working group, and with the group meetings we selected of applicable quality indicators of GSBPM, and we determined a quality indicators list. After that, we transformed quality indicators to self-assessment questionnaire. After that, we carried out pre-testing and pilot implementations for the self-assessment questionnaire with statistics which are produced by survey-based or administrative database, because some questions and quality indicators are different from their side. So And also we prepared document list because quality assessments should be evidence-based, and we determined some key documents and we linked them to questions and quality indicators. Also, we developed quality assessment report template. At the end of the design process, we presented all the phases of design process to top management. So it's also very important because they supported us very well. At the implementation side, we started to implement quality monitoring and assessment tool. It is really detailed tool because we implement self-assessment questionnaire, and also we analyzed and search all the documents, manual, handbooks, and regulations, and we do focus group meetings, etc. So it takes many time. So we finished for 11 official statistics, and we report the results of the official quality assessment to top management, and also we monitor improvement actions. At the end of as a result of the quality assessment processes, we determined 108 improvement actions for the statistics, and now a percentage of 68 of improvement actions have been completed by relevant unit. It is very good news for us. I think that our relevant units have very good job. And also we have seen that 3 of GSBPM quality indicators are most popular because we linked with improvement actions with quality indicators and our self-assessment questions and some other sections with, as you see, GSBPM phase, sub-process phase, and quality dimensions. As you see, indicator number 28, 58, and 124, they are, as we have seen as a result of the assessments, they are the most popular, or they are the highest number of improvement actions were identified for the assessment process. On 2022, we started to revise self-assessment questionnaire within the scope of quality management project in IPA, and we also worked with external experts, and we analyzed and searched all the questions, all the quality indicators on our self-assessment questionnaire. We reduced the number of questions in order to reduce respondent burden. It was 169. We reduced it to 142, and also every question is linked with GSBPM quality indicators. So when it comes to quality indicators number, it was reduced from 104 to 76. And also we redesigned the self-assessment questionnaire because it is on Excel file. We use some Excel macro codes in order to change it to improve its usability. So questions are dynamically enabled or disabled based on the data source. For example, if you produce statistics from administrative data, you don't need to see any questions for survey-based statistics. That's why we redesign our self-assessment questionnaire. When it comes to some numbers, as you see on the chart, we use 76 quality indicators of GSBPM, and you can see the distribution of main phases of GSBPM 5.0. As you see, the most number has specified needs. And also, we also link with the quality indicators to quality dimensions. As you see, accuracy and reliability and relevance are have the most numbers. So quality indicators, you can see cost effectiveness has one quality indicators, but we use one quality indicators, but we ask 3 or 4 questions for calculating or measuring these quality indicators. That's why we have many questions for some numbers of quality indicators. Our experience, quality indicators provide valuable insights into areas open to improvement. Also, we have seen that quality indicators of GSBPM allow for a deeper quality assessment because it is covering all production process. And also focus group meetings and analyzing documents play important role in identifying improvement action, because it's a holistic approach. It has a quality indicator phase and focus group and analyzing documents and preparing the report. It's a very huge process for us. So quality indicators are very valuable for us. I would like to give some specific progress for as a result of our quality assessments. We have seen that communication and collaboration with units have been really improved. Data coverage has been expanded at the institutional level, and risks have been further detailed. Also, our user satisfaction survey has been updated last year. You can also reach on our website. And also the dissemination system has been re-evaluated by IT departments. This is my last slide. For future plans, we want to develop a scoring system which is capable of calculating quality indicators. And also we would like to integrate quality monitoring and assessment tool into new data sources. And also we want to redesign our self-assessment questionnaire with electronic form and digitize it. And thank you very much for listening to me, and thank you very much for the opportunity of sharing our experience. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Serdar. Also, again, excellent and very rich presentation. Really a lot to take in here. Very developed practices also here at Turkstad. So thank you very much. That was really very informative and very good in sort of guiding also the work of here this subgroup. So again, I want to check whether there are any immediate questions for clarification, or whether we can continue with our next presentation. So I see no hand being.
Hello, Matthias. Sorry, it's just I cannot raise my hand. I don't know why.
Please, then please unmute yourself and please.
Okay, so yeah, I want to ask a question. I wanted to know if you got some resistance when implementing this form within your institution. And also, I want to know if this form is also applied to NSS entities or only within the National Statistical Office. That's
yes, we implement it in our office and subject matter units. Also, at the beginning of the year, we select which statistics will be assessed by using this tool, and our top management and our relevant units have some meetings for that, and we determine some statistics, and after that we decide to implement this, and yes, it is implementing in our institution.
Thank you.
I don't know if it is enough.
Yeah. Yes, and I just wanted to know if you had any kind of resistance within the institution when applying this form. Like someone said, oh no, this is too much for us.
Yes, we have some feedbacks on that. That's why we reduce some numbers of questions. Yes, we have some reactions, but leadership is very important, as you know. Our top management has a very important decision on that. So our top management decides to implement this. So no one can say that.
Say no.
Yeah. Because,
okay, thank you.
Because we tell them it's valuable things, and they are willing to implement this.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Yes, thank you very much for that question. Maybe this is something that we want to take up in the discussion. We saw really great tools, but there is also the question, so what is the extent of implementation within the National Statistical Office and also potentially beyond, right, throughout the National Statistical System? So that question was raised. Maybe pick it up then in our discussions. But now I would then suggest that we proceed now to our fourth presentation, which is from the NSO Mongolia. But before that, I again want to thank Mr. Serdar Gören for his excellent presentation. And now I would like to give the floor to Ms. Norov, Sotnom Dori of the NSO Mongolia. She's the Director for Cooperation and Methods. And yes, we are looking forward to your presentation, and the floor is yours.
Okay, good morning and good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you very much, Mr. Matthias, for the introduction. And I'm going to present you the some implementing activities at the NSO of Mongolia regarding the quality assurance framework through the use of the GSBPM. So I'm so pleased to have an opportunity to share our experience to this workshop. And if you have any comments or questions related to my presentation, and if we do not have enough time, so please feel free to email me. And for the last year, so we had at the National Statistics Office of Mongolia are focusing to implement the GSBPM and also the quality assurance framework, and also its intensifying implementation. And for example, at the very first time, so in the 2017 to 2020 national strategies for the development of statistics, so there is an related to the GSBPM actions are introduced for the adaptation of the GSBPM, and then to our next NSDS for the 2021 to 2025, the implementation of the GSBPM is on the more level of the intensifying the implementation and implementation of the quality assurance framework through the GSBPM. So in this context, we are implementing the following activities under the international standards and also the documents. So for this presentation, I would like to share 4 main activities related to the GSBPM implementation to assure the quality assurance. So at the very first, in 2017, we initially introduced our national GSBPM, which is in 8 phases and also 44 sub-phases, based on the GSBPM 5.0 version. And following that, also we developed the 2 manuals. The first one is GSBPM for the statistical domains, and also the manual for developing the statistical production system of Mongolia. So, based on the above mentioned the manuals and guidelines, the statistical production system, or SBS, was developed and started into the operation in 2020. So this system covers a total of like 5 main phases of the GSBPM, from the build to the disseminate phase. So as of today, so we input the total of like 52 out of 57 statistical processes through this system. So actually, we use some outsourcing company for the development of the system. So now we are facing some challenges for maintaining the system and some updating the system updates for this one. And also the second activity is we developed the GSBPM checklist. So this checklist is actually we shortened our guideline that was developed in 2017. So the guideline to GSBPM to statistical domains, that was kind of like 114 pages. So we shortened it into the 30 pages as in checklists. So we piloted like 4 different official statistics from the different statistical production processes. For example, the construction statistics is representing our quarterly or monthly official statistics that we, the NSO, collects the data from the enterprises. And the household socioeconomic survey is representing the household-based sample surveys. And also we piloted the money, loan, stock market statistics, which conducts which is conducted by the Central Bank of Mongolia. And also we also piloted the SIA accounting for the agriculture. So we piloted as our new statistics. And also the checklists included the quality indicators for the GSBPM. So this is total of 212 indicators, which is based on the Modern Stat high-level group quality indicators for the GSBPM. And also in this regard, also, I would like to emphasize that the importance of this updating the quality indicators of the GSBPM, also, which is one of the main objectives of the subgroup of this INCAF expert group. And so our checklist is like more produced more like user friendly, so the staff could use it more like checking than the writing. And also this is the we try to group the processes through our piloted statistics. So for example, the construction statistics are now, we are following the 21 processes, sub-processes from the total of 44 sub-processes of the GSBPM. And for the new statistics, this is more like, since it's a new statistics, we need to start it from the very first specified needs and to the disseminate. It's covering like 30 sub-processes from the 44 total sub-processes, and etc. So our third action that I would like to share is also based on this checklist. So we are now in process of trying to develop the statistics production documentation application based on the GSBPM basis. So this is like kind of like GSBPM database for all of the statistical domains that NSO produces. So I'm sorry, this is in Mongolian, and so here is we can say like all of the statistical domains are showing in here. And for example, this one is let's choose the statistical business registers, and then you can see the what sub-processes are following for these domains. And we can also, for example, this the gray ones are not following the sub-phases. And also we can in detail, for example, the specified needs, we can write in detail, and also we can upload some like methodologies or some questionnaires and forums related to this statistical domains. We can upload it. And also for this one, we have also the submenu for the producing the report for the GSBPM in this one. And we can now we can use it more like in documentation way, and also that checklist that I was introduced was in Word format. So this is the, I think, very good way to digitalize and more reduce the burden for our subject matters. And also it's very easy to conclude and also the report the total GSBPM and the phases and action processes. And last but not least, we are using the GSBPM processes as a producer-oriented quality report itself. So for the National Quality Assurance Framework, we revised our quality strategy, National Quality Strategy in 2023 based on the UN INCAF. And also following this, our quality strategy, we also revised our guidelines for the preparation of quality reports. So we developed it into more like user-oriented quality report and also producer-oriented quality report. And our producer-oriented quality report's main content is also itself, the GSBPM itself. So this is the short introduction from my side. And so for the NSO, we are more for the further actions. We are more in order to enhance our quality assurance framework for our national level. So we would like to more focus on intensifying the GSBPM implementation. In this regard, we would like to shift from the more manual work to the more digitalized version. We would like to develop our GSBPM application. And also, we would like to follow our updated methodologies, global updated methodologies and guidelines related to the GSBPM, including the quality indicators for the GSBPM and also updated GSBPM 5.2 and etc. And second of all, also, we would like to expand and also implement our current quality assessment tools according to the NCAF and such as like self-assessments or peer reviews and auditings and etc. So in this regard now we are working with the UN SCAP to develop the self-assessment, and based on the self-assessment we define the low quality like the processes, and our experts, international experts, are more defining the rules and challenges for that processes and develop the recommendations and further implementation action plans for the overcoming those challenges and rules. And last but not least, the capacity building is very important, not only for our subject matter for the quality assurance at the NSO, also for all of the subject matters for the National Statistics Office of Mongolia, and also for the related to the digitalization. So also support with the COSTAT ODI project, we are now also developing the quality management system. So this system, through the system, we are also in the process of like developing the assessments and also the related preparations for this year, and this management system will be developed in the next year. So thank you very much. This is the end of my presentation. Over to you, Mr. Matthias.
Thank you very much, Ms. Norov, for your excellent presentation and showing us how the NSO Mongolia is building out its quality management system with the use of the GSBPM. So thank you very much for that information. It's also, again, a lot to take in, a lot of things that you do. So here, I again ask the participants whether there are any immediate questions, and otherwise immediate questions for clarification, or otherwise asking you to hold your questions for our discussion. We will have one more presentation to go, and then we will open the floor for more detailed discussion on those presentations. So I understand raising the hand doesn't really work, but you can put your question into the chat, or you can open your camera and open your microphone and yeah, just take the floor. So are there any immediate questions for clarification to Ms. Norov? Okay, if this is not the case, then again, thank you very much for now, Ms. Norov. There will be surely questions. So thank you very much for now. And then I suggest thanks a lot. And now then I suggest we move to our last presentation. This is Mr. Per Ola Haugen of Statistics Norway, who will inform us about Statistics Norway's practices and using the GSBPM. Okay, I saw Per Ola. Per Ola, I've seen you before, so if you can maybe take the floor.
Yes, thank you, Matthias. I'll start sharing my screen. Just a moment.
Excellent. We can see your screen and it's in presentation mode, so you're ready to go.
Thank you. My name is Per Ola Haugen. I'm quality manager in Statistics Norway, and I will share some experiences from Norway on using GSBPM and also some work on quality indicators. So let's start with a little bit history of GSBPM in Statistics Norway. Back in 2008, the first version of GSBPM, we implemented a national model based on the international model. And we spent quite a lot of resources on implementing this model back in 2008. And since then, for later revisions, we have been using the international model as is, only translated it to Norwegian language. And Statistics Norway has contributed to the work on establishing the model and also in the subsequent revisions. So I'll now talk about how we use this model in the quality work in Statistics Norway. And I will especially highlight the use of GSBPM in quality reviews. We do a few in-depth quality reviews each year, both in Statistics Norway, but also among other producers of official statistics. In such reviews, we have 5 main activities, and one of these main activities is a process review based on GSBPM. It's a half-day physical workshop where we map the production process for this single reviewed statistics according to the GSBPM model. So this use of GSBPM, it leads to a common understanding of the process. In this workshop, we involve all involved staff in the production of the statistics, both the subject matter people, communication staff, and IT staff. And you can say we use the model as a checklist to make sure that all necessary steps have been considered. And I think the main goal by using this model is to identify weaknesses and improvement areas in the production of the statistics. But it's also important to identify good practices that could be shared among other divisions or among other producers. We also see that GSBPM we use it as a structure for documentation, and it leads to the common terminology. We can speak the same language. And it's I would say it's a key point for standardization, both of the processes and also for IT solutions, common solutions, we can see that the use of GSBPM is very useful. In Statistics Norway, we also keep track on man-hour, divided on the different phases in the model. So this is an example for the process or the quality review of accommodation statistics back from 2018. And we can see that the subject matter people is spending most time on this process 5, the process. Okay, so let's move on to quality indicators. We see in Statistics Norway that there is room for improvement on using quality indicators to measure compliance with the quality criteria in our quality frameworks, like the European Statistics Code of Practice and the National Statistics Act. So we have last year published a note on recommended quality indicators in official statistics. We are in this note we are focusing only on quantitative quality indicators that can be measured. And in this note we have 26 recommended indicators. And these indicators are very much inspired on and based on SIMS, the European framework for reference metadata. In SIMS, you have 99 indicators, and 16 of these are numeric or quantitative indicators. We have added 10 more to this list of SIMS indicators, especially on this process phase in the GSBPM, like different point of views on the editing process. And this list of indicators, it's not a definitive answer. Each statistics have to consider which of these indicators are relevant. But it's a guideline for the different producers. So the approach that the producers have to consider which quality indicators are relevant for their statistics. And the next step, maybe they pick a few from this list, maybe 2 or 3 or 4, not too many. The next step is to build the quality indicators into the production process, so that these indicators, the output from the indicators, could be created automatically when you run the process. And the final step is to actively use these quality indicators in production, both could find errors in the production, but it's also very important related to this process 8 in the GSBPM, evaluate, to find improvement areas in the production on data quality and the process. So for these 26 indicators, we have try to link them to different statistical frameworks. SIMS is already mentioned, but you also have a link to this total error framework. Is the indicator relevant for variables, units, or the statistics level? We have linked them to the 16 quality principles in the European Statistics Code of Practice. In the bottom left corner, you see the steady states of data. And of course, in the upper left corner, you have the GSBPM, the different these 4 production phases in GSBPM. So as a result of this linking to some of these frameworks, we have, as you can see here, this is the 26 indicators. And we have linked them to the GSBPM. And the result of this linking is that we can see that most 10 of these 26 indicators is related to the disseminate phase. We have 3 on the analyze phase, 7 on the process phase, and 4 to the collect phase. So we have a linking between these 26 indicators and the GSBPM. So this link is very important. Okay, that was my last foil. So thank you so much.
Per-Ola, thank you very much for your presentation. Again, also very, very informative. A lot of information here to take in. Again, I'm asking here whether there are any immediate questions for clarification. Okay, if this is not the case, then I suggest we are entering now our general discussion. So we have 2 parts, at least 2 parts of our general discussion. The first part, of course, is the follow-up to the presentations that we just had. And the second part will be the sharing of any additional experiences that participants here have at this workshop or seminar are having. But here now in the first round, we would, of course, like to go back to our presentations. And there was a lot to take in. Just to recall, just one name for each presentation. So in Colombia, we heard about a quality matrix form. For Italy, we heard about the quality guidelines that are mapped to the GSBPM. From Turkstad, we heard about the self-assessment questionnaire and the quality monitoring and assessment tool. From Mongolia, we heard about the efforts of introducing the GSBPM, a GSBPM checklist, and also have quality reports. And now here, Statistics Norway, we heard about a process review and we heard about quality indicators. So all very excellent practices. So now I would like to open the floor, and maybe the first follow-up is, I think there was a question of Vietnamese Le Thuyen to Georgia. And I don't know, instead of maybe me reading the question, maybe I leave it up to you, Georgia, to sort of rephrase the question and the answer, then respond to Ms. Le Thuyen.
Okay, I think I understand the question by our colleague, because in my presentation I wrote that we have to use GSBPM for new statistical processes. I mean, for new type of statistical processes, that is, for example, statistical registers or multi-source statistical processes, for which often we have different sources for different variables and different workflows, and it was not possible to well describe and to define quality indicators specific for this different workflow in our previous system, because it was very focused on surveys in which maybe in general all the data set go over the same process. And now instead we use GSBPM to support our mapping and identification of quality indicators in these processes. So I hope I answered to the question from Le Thuyen.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Georgia. I believe you did, but of course, Ms. Le Thuyen, if you have any follow-up question, you can use the chat. And also everybody else, if the raising a hand doesn't work in MS Teams, please unlock your camera and raise your hand like in the camera and unmute yourself, that we can then see that you would like to speak. So again, open your camera or put something in the chat, then we know that you have a question. Again, now the floor is open to questions on all of those 5 presentations, which were all really excellent. I see Hans Vigo is raising his hand. Okay, no other hand. So his hand is working. So Hans Vigo, the floor is yours. You're muted. You have to unmute yourself. Hans Vigo, you are muted. We could not hear you.
Yes, thank you. Now I'm not muted.
Yeah.
I was a bit surprised, I say, that the hand worked. But anyway, I have a more question to several of the presentations, which were very interesting. One is some of you concentrated only on the main phases, or someone also on the subphases. Do you all consider all the subphases, or simplify this by concentrating on the main phases? And the other one is also for several. How many quantitative quality indicators do you really use? We heard numbers from Turkey, 76, Mongolia, 212, based on the 2017 GSBPM report, I guess, and Norway 26, and the European Union 16. But I was not sure what was the numbers from Colombia and Italy. So those who want to just briefly comment on that, that would be interesting. Thank you.
Yes. No, thank you very much, Hans Vigo. So I suggest we ask all presenters. So the first question was, do you concentrate on the phases, or do you cover all sub-processes? What's the relationship here? And then how many quality indicators do you in fact use? So, and I would like to give the floor first, then our first presenter, Colombia, Juliana. So is the question clear? And please, your response.
Yeah, and hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Well, for the question about indicators, we synthesize the indicators. I mean, we just we use our NTC standard, and our NTC standard has some quality requirements in it, right? By phase. And in each phase, we have some questions regarding each sub-process. And we put these questions into the self-assessment instrument, and the entities just fill in the questionnaire, okay? And they just get some results, but it's not like they have to fill in all the spots. I mean, they are free to use the indicators they think are the most useful ones. But so it's not like enforcing them to use the self-assessment instrument in total in indicators, okay? But what I want to say is that NTC standard has some checks on the spot, and DANE is not responsible for checking that because we have a group of independent experts, okay? And DANE has the methodology. So they go to the place or to the entity, and they just evaluate by each one of the phases. And we have core indicators there by subphase, and they check if they have documentation on that specific phase. So we want to synthesize like all the metadata that is important for each one of the phases. For us, it's really important to have core metadata for each one of the phases, because we understand that all the entities in the system do not have the same capabilities to document. They don't have the same resources. And some of them are, how can I say, they are in remote places. So they are not in constant contact with the experts. Like they have to maybe perform these evaluations not in a how do I say, face to face. So for us, it really depends. We choose the some entities that have the capabilities to do that. And well, you asked me also, well, about the indicators. And What was the other question? I'm sorry.
Yes, whether you are covering only the phases or all sub-processes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. To complement that. So we make a, how can I say, a summary of the most important metadata, as I said, for each phase. But we have indicators also for each one of the phases, but it's not like they are comprehensive. We want to make it very practical. So we want to put, indicators that they really use, okay?
Okay, yeah, no, thank you very much. So I would like now to give the floor to Georgia, and maybe if responding to questions, if you also can try to be concise so that we can have more questions after. I think this is one aspect very important, but let's also make sure we have also time for other questions. So Georgia, over to you.
Yes, I will try to be very concise. Concerning the phases, it depends on the objective for which we are using GSBPM. For example, on the system for monitoring statistical registers, we were thinking about monitoring the things that are ongoing, so not the first design phase or build phase, but the current edition of the update of the registers. And so we focus only on some of the phases of GSBPM. In other cases, for example, in the checklist, we also were interested in the overall process, and there were questions also on the design and build phases, specifying needs, for example. So we consider all the phases, and then we choose the one that are relevant for the objective. Concerning the indicators, I'm not sure that in each presentation there were the reference to the quantitative indicators, but in our case, I have not counted them, but I guess that we have already in our system sort of 70 quantitative indicators, considering they are also in groups. So maybe we have 15 indicators on coverage and non-response, but they include all the reasons for non-response, let's say. So it could seem more than they are. I think we have some more in the new system for the registers. So I would say almost 90 quantitative ones. And that's it for my answer.
Thank you very much. So then over to you, Seda. Also, if I may request a brief answer. So do you cover all phases, and do you cover all sub-processes, or only focus on the phases, and what is the number of indicators?
Thank you very much for the question. Yes, we cover all the main process of GSBPM, but we went from quality indicators. So we don't cover all of the sub-processes because, as I mentioned before, we set up a quality working group and we selected applicable quality indicators. So if some quality indicators are not applicable for us, so we don't cover it, and also therefore the sub-process of quality indicator is not covered on our self-assessment question. We have seen that quality indicators are, it is difficult to calculate and measure it in numeric way. So it is a bit subjective way. Yeah, measuring phase is a bit subjective. So quality indicators ensure us to discuss and detailed assessments for us. It is very good way to discussion and deep assessment processes. And also, as I mentioned before, we use 76 quality indicators of GSBPM, but I don't remember which one is quantitative and qualitative, but I can say that many of them are not numerical way, because it is, as I mentioned, it is very I think it is very difficult to measure it because it is changing with data sources and some processes. So we found a way to detail it with discussions and searching and analyzing some documents. So I think that our indicator set is based on mainly qualitative way. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I give the floor then to Ms. Norov.
Yes, thank you very much for the question. So for the related to the main phase and subphases question, so we are using the more in detailed way, like using the subphases. And for that quantitative and qualitative quality indicators, it's a very important question, because all of the indicators that is I mentioned in my presentation for the GSBPM checklist, those are the qualitative indicators. So in order to assess our production processes, it is very important, and also the easy to convert it into the numeric way. So for the quantitative way. So we are now working on that, and so our self-assessment, developing with the UNISCAP is using the UN NCAF the quality indicators, and this is more using the quality indicators with the numerical way. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Per-Ola, over to you.
Yes, thank you for the question. We cover all phases, all subphases in GSBPM, from specifying needs to evaluate. In this quality reviews, process review, we map all these 8 phases. And I will especially highlight the importance of the specify need phase, where you have this user perspective. And this on indicators, as I said, we are based this over 26 indicators on the SIMS framework. The SIMS is limited, you can say, to the statistical output, and I think that's one of the reasons we have added 10 more to cover more of this whole process. And in addition, we use also many of these qualitative indicators from SIMS. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for your responses. So I do not want to comment on those, just leave it as things were said. So instead, I would like to see whether there are any other questions to the presenters. And I'm looking at the time. Maybe it's hard to ask a question to all presenters. Maybe if I can ask, if you ask your question to some one or two or three specific presenters, maybe yeah, if you can do it that way. So I think maybe, Georgia, you wanted to raise your hand and ask a question.
Well, I was thinking to a general question for all presenters, so maybe it's better to change. But well, I have a specific question for Colombia, because I was curious about the fact that they have a much more every year they have much more metrics form than statistical operation. So they apply more times the same form to the same statistical operation. This was not clear to me. I imagine that you have one matching.
Juliana, over to you. Do you understand the question? Is it clear?
Okay. Hello, Georgia. So you're asking me about the matrix form, right? I mean, how do we fill that form, right?
Well, in the slides, there is one slide with all the different years, and they said that in 1 year you had the 100 of matrix form and 28 statistical operation. So I was imagining that they were 101 instead.
Okay. Okay, I wanted to say something. Okay, first of all, our metrics form was constructed with the statistical operation managers. So they are the ones who design the methodology. So we just had like a meeting with all these operations. And of course, I am from the coordination regulation unit. Okay. So we had these meetings and we asked which indicators they needed to see. So we got like 40 aspects. We call them aspects, 40 aspects related to each one of the phases. And in those phases, we ask questions relevant to the statistical operation. They could be about dates. They could be about standard implementation. They could be about publishing products. They could be about concepts, standardized concepts. They could be about also formulas for coverage. Okay. So there are 40 aspects, and all those aspects contain a lot of questions. Okay. Some of them are answered, some are not. It depends on the statistical operation and the data source, right? As for the self-assessment instrument, it's like around 50 questions, and those are combined with qualitative and quantitative indicators. Those are related to the metrics form, but they are more like open questions, more general questions. And those are focused on design, collection, and processing, because we believe design is really important for us to check if the statistical operation is performing well or not. I mean, we can adjust there. Design is a very important phase for us to adjust. And as collection as well, and processing, well, because we had some, things in our statistical office that requires checking in regards to processing. But what I'm trying to say is that all statistical operations complete the form, okay, the ones that are selected, and sometimes they answer all the questions, okay? Sometimes they are new to the form, so you can have more forms and less statistical operations, okay? Something like that. I don't know if it is clear. It's just I don't know. I don't have much time to show you all, okay?
No problem. Okay, thank you. It was clear.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. We have also here one question from Antonia Morris of Jamaica. Here, were the quality indicators developed first and then mapped to the GSBPM? Or was the GSBPM used to guide the development of the indicators? And maybe following my suggestion to only ask specific experts here, not a round table. So maybe I ask Per-Ola first for Norway. So what came first for you?
Our approach was for these 26 indicators was to create them first, and then we mapped them to the GSBPM.
Yes. Okay, no, thank you very much. Is there one other presenter who wants to respond to that question? Maybe not all, but maybe one. So what came first for you?
I can answer, Matthias. We use generic quality indicator list of UNEC. So every quality indicators are already mapped with GSBPM process, sub-process, and also some quality dimensions. So we used the main list of GSBPM quality indicators, and they are already mapped on the list. So it was so easy, thanks to UNEC. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So now here we have around 10 minutes left, and I'm sure we still have many questions. So now I'm just thinking about a process. Maybe if the presenters agree, we can collect questions here from each other, and then summarize them, and then send to you for response, and then to be shared with everybody. I think we will not be able to have, for example, one more question to everybody, because we just will be running out of time. So with the agreement of the presenters, so I think Georgia has some general questions to everybody, to all the presenters, and also myself maybe has a question. So I would suggest that we just have collect those questions and then ask them directly to the presenters, and then afterwards share with everybody the responses, if this is agreeable. So also any other questions that you may have on the presentations, please maybe put them in the chat, then we will collect them and we can share them with the presenters, and then the responses with you afterwards. So this is what I would suggest now here on questions on the presentations, because the reality is we just could scratch on the surface of things because the presentations were also so rich. So now in the remaining time, I also wanted to check whether there are any other participants here in the meeting that would like to highlight their national practices and just sort of briefly indicative, and then maybe we could also follow up with you on maybe providing more information. So are there other participants here at the meeting who have not spoken yet, who would like to also highlight their practices? Yes, I see Nuria of Mexico. I see your hand. Please, the floor is yours. And just please, very brief, we may also just follow up with you afterwards to maybe provide some more detail then.
Yes, thank you, Matthias. I only want to say that in our experience in Mexico, we have, for one side, the quality indicators that are quantitative indicators. And for the other side of the GSBPM, what we have done is focus on the documentation phase, documentation of each phase of the GSBPM. So I think it's interesting hearing all these participants, how they have met the quality indicators with the GSBPM. Thank you.
Yep, thank you very much. Anyone else who would like to highlight their national experiences? I think throughout the process, we may have a survey actually to all countries, but maybe also just for us to have understanding what practices are out there and what to ask. So anyone else who wants to sort of point out their practices at this moment? Okay, I see no hand being raised. And again, this is something we could follow up here with the participants after this meeting. And that follow-up will help us to shape our questionnaire that we maybe want to have to all countries. So now I'm looking at the time, and I would now, so we have 5 minutes left. So I would now like to give our co-chair, Ms. Giorgia Simeoni, and also our co-chair of Colombia, a brief opportunity to sort of a brief sentence to a few brief remarks on summarizing here the discussions and the results. And then afterwards, I will ask Georgia you to then also have some closing remarks. So Georgia, maybe from your side first, any conclusions here at this stage?
Well, my main conclusion is that we have maybe more experience than expected in the use of GSBPM with quality indicators, because we were expecting experiences about using GSBPM for documenting processes, but not much on the use of quality indicators together with GSBPM, and also so strictly connected with the quality assurance framework. So I think the balance of this not the balance, sorry, the summary, let's say, of this workshop is really positive, and I do really hope that we will have also further occasion to engage with participants.
Thank you very much. Juliana, so over to you as co-chair of Colombian co-chair. I know Juliet has had to leave. So Juliana, any sort of concluding remarks from your side as it concerns the substantive discussions that we had?
Okay, thank you, Matthias. Yes, I can see that all presentations show that GSBPM is really effectively used not only as a process model, but as a framework to include quality assurance across all the life cycle. I think the practices and examples were very important, especially for the product we're going to develop, the guidelines on how to use GSBPM and support the implementation of national quality assurance. So I think it's a very nice, what can I say, it's a very important and useful input for this document. And well, I think it's a great opportunity now that we have version 5.2 for new, new adaptations and reinforcement of quality indicators. So I think it's a very positive outcome, and I think we can improve all the aspects related to quality assurance and the GSBPM framework.
Thank you very much. Yep. So thank you very much, Juliana, and thank you very much, Giorgia, for your conclusions. Now I would like to hand the floor to Ms. Giorgia Simeoni, our co-chair from Italy. So Colombia opened, Italy will be closing. So please, your closing remarks and maybe next steps. Yeah.
Okay, Matthias. Well, so we are arrived at the end of the seminar, and first of all, I should thank UNSD Secretariat for the organization and the support, and Juliet and Juliana for the co-chairing, and also the experts that presented their experiences, and also the ones that participated in the discussion. It was very nice discussion, and maybe the idea is that it could be also longer because it was very interesting. Now we should continue with our work with the subgroup objectives, and we have the need to collect the experiences. So I really please all the participants to share documents and presentations that can report their experience on the use of GSBPM, and so that we can collect them and take information that can be very useful for us, in particular to develop the guidelines on how to use GSBPM to support national quality assurance framework implementation. We do really think that it's very useful to equip GSBPM with a sort of implementation guidance that every statistical agency can consult, because another message that I get from this experience is that we are all doing similar things in different institutes, maybe alone, and maybe we can also put together our efforts and produce some guidelines that can be useful for a country that is starting and wants to understand how to start, and can also take advantage of the efforts that we have already done. I was thinking while the colleagues from Turkey was speaking, that they have done a big effort to operationalize all the quality indicators from the GSBPM document of 2017, because they have no formula. So probably they have done a lot of work to create questions for them. I have also thought that our colleague from Mongolia have developed a tool to map GSBPM that maybe translated in English can be used by several countries without going with Excel files every time. So I think that we can together really produce some important and useful products. The implementation guide, apart from these tools and this experience, these implementation guidance are missing and would be very useful to use GSBPM in our everyday work time. Obviously, we also continue to develop the overarching process on quality management of GSBPM, and also in this case, your experience will be very useful. And so we also hope that you will be happy to be engaged further. So maybe we can consider that you as a sort of soundboard to which we can ask some advice sometimes if you have some work in progress for which we would like to have the opinion of experts like you. Obviously, maybe some of you are more interested in collaborating, and so we are also open to further engagement. Having said this, I think I have finished. I renovate my my thanks to all of you. Well, we will probably organize another workshop in the framework of the subgroup in the autumn, and maybe we will have also more results from the work of our subgroup to share. I give the floor back to Matthias, and I think we are close to the closing of the webinar.
Yes. Thank you very much, Georgia, for your closing remarks. So you highlighted the next steps, you gave us the outlook and also the objective and the perspective of further engagement here in this group. As I pointed out, there will be some immediate follow-up here with the presenters and here with the participants. And otherwise, no need to add anything to the closing remarks of Georgia. I maybe just have one last request, which would be to open our cameras so that we can take a group photo documenting our participation and engagement, and our successful workshop. It was really very interesting, and thank you very much for all of your participation. So yes, please, if you can open your camera, and then we will take a group picture. Yes, usually you tell us whether you've taken our picture.
Yes, Matthias, thank you.
Okay, then thank you very much. Thanks to everybody, thanks to the co-chairs, thanks to the presenters, and thanks to all participants. And we will be all in touch. It was a great workshop and seminar, although unfortunately always short a little bit, but I think we did what we can do in such a format. Thank you very much again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Have a nice day.
Have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye.